Hey guys, right, welcome to part 2 of my training video. In the first video I showed you how to use the training advice to advise you on what routines to use, and that's all you need to do for basic level. However, this sheet does have the facility to keep training records and also to use that data to assess your players, tell you how good they'll be in the future. So I should already have trained my players, which I haven't done. I wait for you. First thing we need to do is we need to make room for the next train. You'll see at the top here it says 14th of February. That's today's date. That's just a calculation that says today. And then this says today -1, today -2, so on and so forth. And when I say train number and then I'll give you a number, that will refer to these trainings. So train number 1 is always today's train. Train 14 is the last train. So what we're going to do, we have trains 1 to 14. We're going to change that to trains 2 to 14. And the way we do that is we highlight everything bar train 14. We're then going to go Control C to copy that, and we're just going to shift that along. Now at some point in the future I'll make a button that does this automatically, but what we've done is this train was done yesterday, so we're just moving it to yesterday, and you'll see lots of numbers here disappear and these go all hash marks. That's because I will explain these later, but these do various bits of analysis. And then what I like to do is I just like to arrange my players in rank order, so my top trainers come out the top and the worst players come out at the bottom. The only reason for this is cosmetic. When I train my team, you get a list of your training scores for that day. Your top player comes out at the top, and your worst player comes out near the bottom. And you usually find that your players who are training higher on average will probably come out near the top of that list. So they're always going to be there or thereabouts. Now forgive the slow computer. You can see there I've set my players up for training, so I'm just going to hit the train button. Now, what sort of train am I expecting? Right, well, I've been averaging about 4.18. Yesterday's train was quite poor. So today I'll probably expect 4-ish, 3.75. Really depends on the luck. I had a bad string of luck, and then the last week or so it's really been up, and then it went down yesterday. And then it's looking quite good actually. Players seem to be coming out round about the average. Yeah, that's about what I was expecting. Right, so the next stage, come on. What we need to do is we need to copy these results into the spreadsheet, and this usually takes me about, should we say, 5 minutes. So first one is Alexon. There he is, third, 4.98, and the next guy 4.94. Now you will see that in this column some numbers appear, and I'll just explain those to you. First of all, you've got this big box there, and you notice there's 4 different colours. Now I've divided, when you train a player, there's an unofficial system in VM that converts training into potential points. We believe 22 potential points is what we call, it is a talent worthy player. If your player's aged between 15 and 18 and they train at 22 potential or more, they should get the talent mark. That's not an exact science, there are other factors involved, but as a rough guide, 22 potential points, more often than not he will get the talent mark. 30 potential points or more is what we consider a super youth, which means he's training above what we call an average talent. I mark players that are too low if their training is less than 14 potential points. Then I'll highlight those in red, and you'll see down near the bottom you've got quite a lot of red, and then you'll see some orange. Orange just means between 20 and 21 potential points. They don't putting something in here or not putting in something in here will not have an effect on the sheet. It's just for reference, so you can look back and I can say, oh, this player there, he had a big chunk of good training, and you get to analyse your whole team on a historical basis. So looking at my training, just looking at this line there, which is the total for each day for the whole team, you could probably say this period here wasn't quite so good, and then I had 4 days of good training and it's starting to slip a bit. That's the only reason why I record them. It also indicates, let's say for example this player, Kinsella, he may have an awful train today. I've not had a look at his train. Let's have a look. Kinsella, it looks bad. There we go, 2.33. So we'll pop 2.33. There we go, perfect. His training has dropped from 22 to 19. Now he's too old to be a talent, but let's say he was 15 and he was a talent. I'm training before 1 PM and I can indicate there that he's going to lose his talent mark, going from 22 to 19. That's an indication that he may lose his talent mark. So a dirty little trick, I'll probably put him on the transfer market with an auction time to finish between 12:30 and 1. Someone will buy them off me on the basis he's a talent, and then at 1 o'clock he'll lose his talent mark and he'll become useless. So that's one of the reasons why you may want to record your training. So the first line here is his average. Quite straightforward. It's his average on 12 trains. Now what it does is, for this particular player, the first one, sorry my mouse is really slow, the player where he's trained 4.98 today, that will take his average of trains 1 to 12, which is roughly this highlight section there. In the case of this player where I've not put his training in yet, that will take trains 2 to 13, which is this bit. Once I enter his training, it will then take trains 1 to 12. So what that tells us, perhaps I should put a red line across through there. But what we want to maintain his training average of 5.26, we want a train of 4.99. And this column there, CHA, that does the comparison between trains the average of 1 to 12 and the average of 2 to 13. So you can see that's actually a bad example because he's not got 12.30. So we'll put the next player in, Zayas, 3.88. So his training will drop 3.88. Right, so we see his average has actually dropped 0.09 as a result of a 3.88 train. That's because the training that's just dropped out of the 12-day average is a 4.99. So his training has decreased. And this column here, L versus T, that's the last 7 days training which is trains 1 to 7, it compares the average of those trains with the trains from days 8 to 14. So it's more handy on a Sunday, I think. You get to the end of the season, you've put your training in, you've looked at this season compared to last season. There may be reasons why the training's dropped. Maybe last season you walked the league, you got 30 wins out of 30 games. Your players didn't lose much energy, they all trained very well. You've been promoted into a group that's way too hard for you. You haven't picked up a single point. All your top players are tired and their training's dropped. Just to go back to this PP, I mentioned potential points. That is their potential points that they've gained. And rank, it just simply ranks all of your players. Number 1 is the player with the most best training, and 23 in this case is the player with the worst training. Obviously, if I had 25 players, that would drop. That would go all the way to 25. So I'm going to close. Last column. Sorry, you've got trains. If a player has not trained 5 times with you, this will indicate how many trainings he's had. So you see this player, he's had 2 trains. If I pop another training in there, you'll see the number changes to 3. And that's all that one does. It's just a little indication to you to say he's not trained 5 times, so each train will be more influential than had he trained 14 times. So I will end this video now while I go and input all of my players, and the next video will be how to you'll update this data, and then you'll analyze the data. It will tell you, bear with me, right, so we have a player assessment page. This tells us our average growth. This is all going to change because once I've hit train, they've gained stats, so their averages change, and I'm going to show you how to analyze that data. But this is the training screen. I'm now going to go off and input all of my figures. Thank you. Bye bye.